Hey, hello everyone. I'm Catherine Defoe, founder of Voodoo Marketing, and today I'm talking with Yamini Rangan, the CCO of HubSpot, with some exciting news. Welcome, Yamini, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Catherine. It's so fun to see you, and thank you for talking to me.
My pleasure. Well, HubSpot recently made a pretty big announcement. On September the 7th, Brian Halligan will move into executive chairman role, and you'll become HubSpot's next CEO. Well, congratulations. Really exciting news. And how are you feeling about this new role?
Oh, super grateful, humbled, and excited. It is a pretty big news indeed. Thank you so much for your warm wishes as well as the support in the new role. It has been, a whirlwind, I would say, over the past few weeks, but we are so excited to have Brian back, stronger than ever, and he's going to be the executive chairman. And in that role, he'll continue to be involved in terms of partner strategy with a lot of you all. He's going to be continuing to shape in terms of our product strategy as well as the long-term direction of HubSpot. So that is very, very exciting news. And I am certainly deeply grateful for Brian and Dharmesh's support in terms of my new role. For the past few months, I've been operating in a little bit of that capacity as Brian was out of the business, but now I'm looking forward to working with Brian and Dharmesh to focus on the future for HubSpot.
Fantastic. We're all looking forward to your new position. I'd like to ask, it's been quite a challenging challenging 18 months or so for many of us. In your short time with HubSpot, I've read that you've been partly responsible for this whopping growth in HubSpot's Q2 2021 revenue of 53%. How did you and HubSpot navigate this last year? And what sort of advice do you think you'd give for partners and subscribers trying to grow?
Yeah, that's a great question, Catherine. So I joined HubSpot at the beginning of January 2020. So it's been about 20 months since I joined HubSpot. And super quick in terms of my journey, I spent the last 25 years in the tech industry, starting as an engineer, then transitioning into a sales person, then transitioning into go-to-market executive. And when I joined HubSpot, I joined because of the customer centricity of HubSpot. I think it's pretty well known in the industry that HubSpot is really focused on customers. And that was one of the reasons I joined. Now, in March of last year, I'm sure you probably remember, some day or some week where the world seemed to kind of shift underneath us. And it certainly felt like that at HubSpot. And one of the things that has like helped us through, pivoting through all of the pandemic last year was just a singular focus in terms of customers. At HubSpot, we have a North Star, which is solve for the customer. You've probably heard it. I certainly saw it, during my process of getting to know HubSpot. I certainly saw it in January when I joined HubSpot, but that's literally the singular North Star. And so when the ground started shifting underneath us, we went back to first principles and we said, what do we want to solve for our customers? Well, customers had pretty significant uncertainty in terms of cash flow. They had pretty big uncertainty in terms of staying in touch with their customers so that they can survive through the pandemic. And therefore, we made a set of decisions to help our customers. We put a customer relief fund. We changed the pricing. We created a starter package that was economical, that would still help our customers be in touch with their customers. And honestly, Catherine, we made a set of decisions in 4 or 5 days that normally would have taken a very long time. And it all comes back down to solving for the customer. And we're super grateful for certainly the growth and the acceleration that we have seen over the last 6 quarters. But it really comes down to one thing, which is solve for the customers, help them, survive, help them thrive, and help them accelerate their businesses as they're going through digital transformation.
Thank you, Yamini. That's really helpful advice. That's really good to bear in mind, actually. Look for the customer. Thank you. In your role as a Chief Customer Officer, you said your focus is reducing customer friction. What would you say are the most common stumbling blocks you hear from subscribers and partners, and what's the best advice you could give?
The advice is focus on the customer.
Yeah.
And I really bring this down into having an organization that is customer in rather than function out. And Catherine, let me explain to you what that actually means, right? In most organizations, as you grow, you have the marketing organization focused on leads and pipeline. You have the sales organization that is focused on closing the deals and getting to the number. You have the customer success organization focused on some set of metrics, all well intentioned and all, the right things as you continue to grow. But as you do that, what happens is that they forget that they're doing it for the customer. And so what we have found as friction points are handoffs between marketing and sales, between sales and customer success, and between any of these customer facing functions. And typically what happens when you are siloed in an organization is that the customer ends up feeling it, right? Have you had the experience of calling in a particular company that you're getting a service and they're like, oh, what's your name? Catherine, where are you living? I'm in Spain. This is my address. And then, oh, sorry, I can't help you, Catherine. Now I'm going to transfer you to this other department. And what happens in that other department is that, Catherine, what's your name? Where are you from? What's your address? That is the biggest problem in most organizations. Organizations end up in silos. And when they end up in silos, customer experience is impacted. And that's the fundamental problem with most organizations. Therefore, at HubSpot, we focus on the flywheel. We put the customer at the center, and then we think about how can marketing really help with attracting those customers, how can sales help with engaging those customers, and how can customer success help with delighting the customers so that we create a fuel for that flywheel and we remove the friction. Having every one of your customer-focused organizations really focus on the customer and think about it customer in rather than function out helps you remove friction within the process.
Okay, thanks. So overall, it's think of the customer and not yourself as a business. That's really, really useful. Thanks. I know HubSpot already does a lot for diversity and inclusion. Can you tell us a little bit more about these initiatives and how people can get involved?
Diversity, inclusion, and belonging is just the fundamental fabric in which we're building HubSpot. Look, I think diversity is not an initiative. It is not a goal. It's not something that you got to think about one year, but not in another year. And we think about it as foundational fabric that we want to build HubSpot on. What does that actually mean? It means that when all the way through the process of hiring, developing talent, retaining talent, promoting talent, and continuing to have that talent thrive within an organization, you have to think about diversity. So in the last, I would say 2 years, diversity, inclusion, belonging has become a primary topic across all companies. And certainly, Catherine, in the US, we had it come to the forefront with the Black Lives Matter movement, and as you know, and a lot of companies are thinking about what is an initiative that I can do. And my perspective, and certainly the way that we approach it at HubSpot, is to build it into the core fabric of hiring, developing, retaining, and promoting talent so that you build diversity into the core of the company. Now, we've done a number of things. We certainly have made pretty significant investments, like our partnership with Howard University within the US to build a digital center for acceleration and of talent and really getting the talent at the very early stage. We've done a number of programs where we hire diverse talent And we've also done a number of programs and internally where we are coaching the talent. And I'd say that that commitment, and we talk about it internally as walking the walk. And we walk the walk on diversity. We just don't talk about it. And it's reflected within our management team. It's reflected within our board. It's reflected across all of the things that we do from a people, leadership, and talent development perspective. And we're still early. There's a lot more that we should be doing in order to reflect the kinds of community, both customer and partner community, that we serve and participate in. So that's what I'd encourage every leader out there to think about. Build diversity into the fabric and foundation of your organization rather than think about it as an annual initiative.
Okay, great. I'm going to add some information at the end of this video about how people can get more involved with that. Okay, Yamini, on a more personal note, I've read somewhere that you're a wine collector. Can you tell us what it is you love about wine collecting? And also, I think it's such a cool thing. Can you tell us what wine you would recommend that everyone try? You know, probably a hidden secret that no one knows about, but it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, so I live in Northern California and very, very close to Napa. And, over the last, couple of decades, I have people coming all over and they're always like, please take me to Napa. And so I think over a period of time, just, taking people to Napa, I've gotten super interested in the art and science of wine. And I do think there is like art and science to it. I think I'm a budding wine enthusiast. I won't call myself a pro in any way. And I absolutely love the science of, winemaking and just going and visiting different countries. Now, I'll tell you, because you're in Spain, my absolute secret, in terms of the best wine is Priorat region. It's like very close to Barcelona. It's about an hour and a half from Barcelona. And Priorat, just absolutely gorgeous landscape, volcanic soil, and phenomenal wines. And one of my best kept is like, just go to any Priorat, bottle of wine. It's, get like a 2010 Priorat bottle of wine and it'll blow your mind. And so that's my secret, especially, in Spain.
Great. Thank you very much for that. That's really, really great. Okay, thank you very much for your time, Yamini. I know you're super busy. Thank you very much. And I'd just like to say you can follow Yamini on Twitter and LinkedIn and her website, of course, yamini.com. Okay,
thank you so much, Catherine.
Thanks
a lot for having me, and thanks for being a phenomenal partner.
Thank you. Okay.